I swear I will not kill anyone.
You just can't go around killing people.
Why? Come with me if you want to live.
All right. Back again. It's only been like 2 days this time. But, yeah, because I did the entire first season of this show. And it's really hard to binge watch a show right now. Because I'm in the middle of my last semester in school. And it's like, it's chaotic. This whole thing is chaotic. But I'm going to do it. Luckily, season 1 only has like 9 episodes. So I got lucky. And I'm going to cover all 9 episodes here. I'm going to try to breeze right through it. This is going to be kind of a tester for how I do season 2. Am I going to do season 2 in its entirety, or am I just going to split it in half? Because there are a lot more. There is more than double the episodes in season 2. But this is it. We're here again. Terminator. I said I wasn't going to cover shows anymore, but I wanted to do this last one because I actually like this show. So here it is. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Season 1. All right, I watched this when it came on. This came out in 2008. This was, and it's really weird because this came out after Terminator 3 and before Terminator Salvation. But this show screws with the timeline so much. It's like they have finally said where it falls in the timeline. They've just decided that this takes place in a different universe. This is official. It's like it takes place in a different universe. This doesn't take place in the timeline. But as of right now, neither does Terminator 3, Salvation, or Genesis. Those take place in alternate universes. Until Dark Fate came out, Arnold Schwarzenegger said that Salvation was the true Part 3. Or not Salvation, the Genesis was the true Part 3 of the series. So now he doesn't even recognize Part 3 in Salvation. But whatever. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. We're talking about a television show here. I'm not going to do the directed by or anything like that. Just know that this is produced by Mario Kastner, who actually produces all of the Terminator stuff. So this isn't just somebody took the Terminator, took the concept, took everything, and made a show out of it. This was actually produced by the people who produced the other Terminator movies. James Cameron, of course, not involved here. In fact, James Cameron says he's never seen an episode of this show. So, okay. Whatever. The cast here, we have Sarah Connor, played by Lena Headey. Lena Headey is now very well known for playing Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones, which is kind of cool because she played Sarah Connor and another Game of Thrones person plays Sarah Connor later. We'll get to that. It's just kind of a cool little link. John Connor is played by Thomas Dekker. My horror community will know him from the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, unfortunately. A lot of people hate that movie. One of my best friends loves that movie, so it's whatever. But Thomas Dekker is in this. He's playing John Connor. Thomas Dekker is actually a really decent actor. The next one is someone that I have such a deep love for, playing Cameron Summerglau, who is widely famous for Serenity and Firefly. She's been in a lot of other television shows. She's not just, Sarah Connor Chronicles and Firefly, but I know her from Firefly. She played River Tam, and I love Firefly. I am a huge fan of Firefly. I'm one of those that's like, oh, I can't believe they canceled it. I even love the movie Serenity. It's just so good. I've read the books. I've read the comic books. I'm such a freaking nerd for her. River Tam is awesome, and Summerglau is awesome. Your antagonists here, and these are loose. This one's a loose antagonist, but it's James Ellison, played by Richard T. Jones. Richard T. Jones, very familiar. He's been in so many friggin' movies and television shows. Great actor. I love it, and he's kind of an antagonist here. He's the person chasing Sarah Connor the entire time, but near the end it starts to flip a little bit. Next up is playing the bad guy Terminator, Cromartie, is Garrett Dillahunt. Very recognizable face. He's been in a ton of shows and movies as well. There was actually another person who played Cromartie in the first episode, but Grant Dillahunt actually plays Cromartie for the majority of the time. In fact, he doesn't even play Cromartie in the second, third, or fourth episode. I think it's the fourth episode where he becomes Grant Dillahunt. So he is in it, but it's a very strange way they do it. Honorable mentions here are Charlie, played by Dean Winters, who is he is recognizable for commercials. He plays Mayhem in the I don't remember what insurance commercials, but he's in some insurance commercials where it's like be protected from mayhem like me, and that's him. He's Mayhem. And Derek Reese, played by Brian Austin Green, or he's probably best known as Mr. Megan Fox, but they have actually divorced because Megan had to leave him for, of all people, Machine Gun Kelly, who looks like a freaking crack addict. But whatever, none of my business. I'm also, to be fair here, I'm not a big Megan Fox fan. I don't get the love for her. Yeah, Jennifer's Body was a decent movie, but like, watch her other movies, man. In Transformers, she's freaking horrible. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, she's like the worst actress in the world. She's so terrible and cringy. And it's like, man, I do not understand the love for her. But I get it, she's hot, cool. But there's more to that in acting. Whatever, man. I'm sorry, I'm a Brian Austin Green guy. Like, I can't believe that she would cheat on him and leave him for Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly, the dude that got stomped so bad in a rap beef that he had to switch genres. He had to go to pop punk because Eminem destroyed him so badly. And this is the person you choose. All right. But Brian Austin Green, awesome dude. I love his acting and everything. So he's great. He does play Derek Reese, who is Kyle Reese's brother, who was never mentioned, but whatever. You have to have something. So jumping right into the television show. The opening of the television show takes place in 1999, and automatically you're screwing with the timeline, because in Terminator 3, John Connor says that Sarah Connor died in 1997 of leukemia. She survived just long enough to see Judgment Day and then died shortly after. So she died in 97. But this is 99 and there's no cancer. She's fine. Okay, cool. Forgiven. Whatever. It's in a timeline. Whatever. But in this, Lena Headey is amazing as Sarah Connor. She's not Linda Hamilton, but she's still good as Sarah Connor. The difference here is that Sarah Connor didn't have a whole lot of just emotion beyond anger and confusion. Like, she was always just a warrior, whereas Lena Headey is a mother. This Sarah Connor is a mom, and she is very motherly to John. And speaking of John, Thomas Dekker definitely studied Edward Furlong, because he plays Edward Furlong's John Connor very, very well. He's almost weak in a way, but strong underneath. He has something to offer, and you can tell he will be the leader of the human resistance, but because he cares so much about humanity. He even has some of Edward Furlong's mannerisms in this, which is very cool in a way. But so, and then when we finally get into Cameron, it's almost like Summer is still stuck in River Tam mode, because she acts like River Tam, but when you actually look at the character of River Tam and the character of Cameron, the TA-88, she's a TA-88. If you look at the two characters, they're basically the same. They're two characters that are just learning to be human, because River Tam was experimented on, and so she never had a chance to be human. They were trying to make her into a superhuman. So it's essentially the same character, just she has to take out all emotion when it comes to Cameron, because Cameron is a cybernetic organism, so she doesn't have any emotion there. And River Tam does show emotion. She cries. She feels pain, stuff like that. So she still does a great job. Now, in this, we are setting up this series, and we are getting to know Sarah and John. Basically, the whole first episode is just, in case you have never seen a Terminator movie, here's the deal. And Sarah, this takes place right after Terminator 2. Sarah Connor has been wrongly accused of killing Miles Dyson. She is a fugitive on the run. And she has chosen another name, and she goes by Sarah Reese. Why she chose Sarah Reese, I don't know, because that's I mean, pretty much you're like, what was the guy's name? She was Kyle Reese, right? Yeah, because he was in the police precinct, so they know his name, and he was like, oh yeah, Sarah, why don't we look for Sarah Reese? Oh, there she is, and then so it's just easily trackable. So the end of the episode, and I'm skipping all the way to the end because the first episode really is a getting to know. We already know these characters. They go, and Sarah, John, and Cameron all time travel. They actually have a thing where John Connor from the future has made a time travel station in an old bank, and he set it up for this very purpose, to send them all forward, and they go forward in time to 2007. Yeah, so they go after Terminator 3, because Terminator 3 took place in 03. So this is all the way to 2007, and that's where our real show starts. So the second episode, we find out that Sarah does have cancer, and she dies in 05 of leukemia. So it's like, okay, so they rehashed that. It's like, all right, cool. And because they skipped from 99 all the way to 2007, Sarah doesn't know about 9/11, and she learns about 9/11 from a bunch of gun runners. And they have a montage of them showing her what happened, and it's like, what the crap? And then we find out that Terminators can rebuild, because right before she went back in time, she blew a Terminator away, and the Terminator's head goes forward with them, and it resets itself, and then its body comes back to life. And I have no clue how the body has power, but it finds the head, connects itself, and yeah, this is Cromartie we're talking about. It's very strange that this Terminator can rebuild itself. We find Enrique. Enrique was from Terminator 2, the man who helped them, who gave him the truck and the guns. He dies in this. He gets murdered. But there is a running thing here where she keeps sending John to school. Why she keeps sending him to high school, I don't know. I don't quite understand that. Like, I get that she wants him to learn and all that, but she keeps sending him to school. Maybe she's trying to send him there to get some lieutenants or something. I don't know, but they keep sending him, and every time they have to switch identities, he keeps the name John and she keeps the name Sarah. I realize it's for the television show, so you don't change the name Sarah and John, but if someone's going to change their name, they are not going to keep their first name. And they do. They keep their first name. But, all right. And we find out that there are more cyborgs being sent towards 2007, and this is why John decided to send all of them to 2007, is to stop this huge plot. And this is where we learn the true plot of the entire season, is that this whole thing is one big plot for Skynet to be created. And that is what season 1 is all about, is Skynet being created. And he sends a bunch of resistance fighters besides, Cameron. He sends a whole bunch of them back to stop this, including our Derek Reese. But he doesn't actually even come in until episode 5. So episode 3, we find out the soldiers are after Cyberdyne, and there is we're seeing the first real plot point we're seeing is how the AI is created, and it starts out as a computer that can play chess and that can learn a human's moves and stuff like that, and where that's going to become the AI for Skynet, for the Cyberdyne systems. So we actually learned that, and it's They're also in the third episode is where the weird teenage drama comes in, which is whenever I see John Connor in high school, automatically I think they're gonna do a weird teenage drama thing, and they do. There's like a girl that keeps seeing graffiti of a door, and it freaks her out. She's like crying and stuff, and it's a big teen drama side plot that takes place in episode 3 and a couple of the other episodes. But it's like we find out that the Terminator knows how to grow his skin back by going to this doctor that's trying to. He's like a scientist who's trying to figure out how to build human flesh, and the Terminator helps him figure it out, and he gets skin. Yeah, so that happens. We got the AI and we got skin growth. So there we go. Number 4. Episode 4, the Terminator Cromartie goes and gets plastic surgery to look like Garrett Dillahunt. Garrett Dillahunt he gets it, and he actually assumes his identity, and the feds are after the guy who looks like him, but he's not him. So it's very cool. And they keep finding blood at crime scenes, but it's not real blood. So, and the whole thing was they're going to take out they're trying to take out the Terminators that are trying to build more. They have sent the Terminators have sent more Terminators back to 2007. This is where it gets kind of convoluted, and they are getting metals that are rare in the future, and they're storing them in a bunker to use to make more cyborgs. So, and so this whole episode is them trying to stop that plot. They get John ends up being locked in this vault, and the Terminator stops and pauses and shuts himself down because he's waiting on the future to get here. I think it's 10 years later or something like that, 4 years later before Judgment Day, and then they have to rebuild. So they're waiting, but he actually sneaks out, and they end up locking the Terminator in the vault and stealing the metal and destroying it. So that plot is done. They can't build anymore because they've destroyed the materials. Cool. But the AI is still out there. So episode 5, they in episode 3 at the very end of it, Sarah actually burns the guy's house down. It's actually the guy she's dating at the time who's creating this AI, and she burns his house down to get rid of the AI because she doesn't want to kill the guy. Cameron keeps telling him, kill the guy. So in this one, he's back. Episode 5, he's back. He brings back the AI, and the teen drama plot comes back. And in this one, the girl who was all upset about the graffiti actually commits suicide, and it affects John. So and he didn't even know the girl. So they're bringing back the side plot. They have to have side plots. This is a television show. You can't just have a television show about the Terminator. You have to have side plots to fill the gaps. So I forgive them for that. But we find out that the Resistance kills the boyfriend because he loses the AI. And we find out that it is Derek Reese, the brother of Kyle Reese. This is my first Chef's Kiss moment. All the Chef's Kiss moments happen in the last 4 episodes. But the first Chef's Kiss moment made me actually giggle when they're running to the truck and John yells out, "Shotgun!" And Cameron, following behind, doesn't get the joke and just says, 9mm. And it made me laugh because I'm like, because she doesn't get the joke. And throughout this whole series, there is moments where she's trying to learn to be human. She's learning the language of high schoolers. She learns the word tight. Oh yeah, the lipstick's tight, and she's learning empathy and sympathy and everything else. She's having to learn all of it, and it's a really cool thing. So I am just giving the main plot points, but there is a lot more to this show than just what I'm saying. But in the end, Derek Reese is shot, and that's the end of our 5th episode. 6th episode, I'm giving you the top 3 episodes because there was only 9 episodes. I'm giving you the top 3 episodes that I liked. Number 6 is one of them. Number 6 is awesome. I'm not going to put them in order. I'm just going to tell you which episodes are really good. Number 6, incredible episode. It's full of flashbacks because the thing I find most intriguing is when they go back to the Future War, where we see Kyle Reese and everyone fighting the machines, the Resistance, Salvation, all that. That's my favorite stuff. Not the movie Salvation. The Salvation, the movie, was not very good, but that part of the story is what I find interesting. And this, we get to see a whole bunch of it. We're going back in time, and they're doing. Kyle has the Sarah Connor picture, and Derek's like, I hate that thing, and it's all just coming together. It's starting to do it. But the whole thing is, they are saving Derek in the real time. They call upon Charlie, who is at the beginning of the show is Sarah Connor's fiance. And now she disappears for 8 years, and he's back, and they call on him, say, hey, he's an EMT. Can you help Derek? And he's very confused, but he does it anyway because he loves John and Sarah, even though he's married now, all that good news. And he's married to Penny from Lost, not Penny's boat. But so they're saving Derek, and Cameron is keeping pieces of the Terminator. We find out that she may be bad. She's keeping like they fight a Terminator and kill it, and she's keeping pieces of it. Like she's keeping the memory core. So something's going on there. And with all the Kyle flashbacks, we do see that Kyle did kill the guy who created the AI, Sarah Connor's boyfriend. We did see that he did it in this episode. So you think he may be bad too. But with all the flashbacks, we even pretty much end on the point, like in the middle of the episode, we get the point where Kyle is sent back to save John. Like that's part of the show. Like, okay. And in the nightmare scene where Kyle is, the nightmare scene where Kyle in the Terminator 1, where they infiltrate the bunker and he drops the picture and it burns. You see the aftermath of that scene. You see the burnt picture, and Derek's like, oh, where's my brother? And they're like, look, they went into this building and no one saw your brother again. So he was sent back. And right after that, Derek is sent back. So it's very, very awesome. I love that episode. Episode 7, another one of my favorite episodes. This is another top, and it's because Silberman is back. Silberman this time is played by Bruce Davidson. If you watch the show, you recognize him from X2. He was in X2. Very cool. He's in a lot of stuff, but that's where I picture him from. But Silberman is back, and this time we get some Sarah Connor flashbacks of her in Pescadero Mental Hospital from Terminator 2. We get to see her original room. It looks just like it. We get to see some of her interrogations, which is kind of cool. And we get to see a very powerful scene where she gives up John. She gives him up for adoption to the two people from Terminator 2. But we learn later on in the episode that that's the day she escaped, because she signed those papers and like, no, never mind, forget that. And that's when she escaped. But in this, we also have a lot of Derek versus Cameron in this, because Cameron can eat in this one. She actually eats food, and there's a lot of that, and that's a point of threat. So, all right, it's a lot of tension between those two. We find out now, we see Silberman later, and we find out that he's a believer. He absolutely believes Sarah Connor now. And our bad guy that's chasing her, James Ellison, is starting to believe, and he brings Silberman the hand. He finds a hand of the Terminator, and he brings it to him, and Silberman drugs him, and he's like, no, you can't, I'm not going to let you stop Sarah Connor. She needs to stop this. Like, so he's a true believer, and Sarah actually comes to the cabin, sees Silberman, and Silberman just smiles at her. He said, I am so sorry for not believing you. And she decks him, and then saves Ellison and takes the hand back. And that is there is a chef's kiss at the very, very end of this, and it's Silberman being locked into Pescadero Mental Hospital in the same exact room he locked Sarah in. Chef's kiss moment. I love it. So, episode 7, great episode. I loved it. Episode 8, the chip that Cameron stole, they actually find it. They're like, no, that's bad. Why are you keeping this? You're supposed to destroy everything. And she's like, well, we could use it. We could read it. And they are reading the chip. And we get a little bit more of the plot unfolding, where we're finding out that the Terminator that had the chip that they killed was married to a woman who is creating the Cyberdyne systems. She's creating a surveillance system and that can watch all traffic cameras, and that's going to be used for the Cyberdyne systems. So there we go. We have the AI, we have the skin growth, we have the surveillance system, we have everything's growing. And pretty much they're going to create a virus and shut the system down. They fail. Instead, they take the chip out of Cameron's head and hook it into the system and crash it that way. So plot fluid again. But the AI system, which is called the Turk, is still out there. So, and that leads us to the 9th episode, and this is what I consider the best episode of this season. Number 9 was incredible. There is a chef's kiss moment with John, and actually all the chef's kiss moment in this episode are with John and Derek, because they are bonding. And in the first part of the show, they send Cameron and Sarah into to do some infiltration, if you will, and they're left in the car, and Derek's wondering why they sent the women in there, and he's like, because one of the men is wanted for murder, and one of the women in there is harder than nuclear nails. And Derek says, and one of them is a cyborg. And it made me laugh because, yeah, it's Sarah. So there is a mafia bad guy in this that are trying to get to them, but they don't know that they have a cyborg with them. And also, there's a little surprise here. Bailey Madison is in this. Out of nowhere, Bailey Madison is a random character in this series. Just pretty cool. I think Bailey Madison's awesome. So, but it is John Connor's birthday, and John Connor, this is another chef's kiss moment for me. John Connor's birthday present from Cameron is he takes him out to get ice cream. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but they're in the park and they're seeing these two little kids play baseball. And one of the oldest kid is Derek Reese, which means that the other kid is Kyle Reese. Derek Reese is Kyle Reese's older brother. And so John is meeting his dad for the first time, and he hands Kyle the ball, and Kyle walks away, and he's like, "Wait, was that my dad?" And he's like, "Yeah," or "Was that Kyle?" He's like, "Yeah," and he starts crying. He's like, "Yeah, he's like, your dad always had a good arm." And he's like, "How did you know?" He's like, "Yeah, I knew as soon as I laid eyes on you." And it's like, it's a really cool, heartwarming moment, and I liked it. Chef's kiss on that. And then the second chef's kiss is the FBI raid when they finally figure out Cromartie's the bad guy. They raid his apartment to the tune of "When the Man Comes Around" by Johnny Cash. And there's no sound. It's just Johnny Cash in the back. "There's a man going around taking names." And it's just him murderizing the FBI left and right. You see a pool, and you just see bodies dropping into the pool bleeding. And it's horrifying, but it happens. And at the end of it, you see Ellison. He's the only one left alive. And Cromartie is all beat up. You see the Terminator underneath, and he's pointing the gun at him. And Ellison just gives up, and he just looks down. And then he lets him live. Cromartie lets him live and walks away. Okay, cool. But at the very end of the show, we get a little lighthearted stuff with Sarah Connor and John Connor. "Oh, it's your birthday, let's go have a cake," blah blah. But the very end, Cameron is going off on a mission. We find out that the bad guy that they killed, the mafia bad guy, who they thought was the leader, was not the leader. He is just the lackey. And Cameron starts the car. Boom, she's gone. Is she dead? We don't know, because that's the end of season 1. It's a cool little season. It really is. I sped through that only giving the main points, but there is so much more to this show. There's a lot of heart. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Acting is good. There's a lot of cool ideas. I like the characters. I like the intrigue. Is Cameron bad? Is Derek Reese bad? The heartfelt moments of Derek, showing him, there's your dad. You get to finally meet your dad. It's really cool moments. So it's very well written, but all in all, because it didn't move the story along at a fast enough pace, and the story even at the end of season 1 is still kind of convoluted. Nothing was really solved. The whole season was them chasing this AI, and they never solve it. They never even find it. Like the last thing they get is a USB that they are trying to hack to find where this AI is, where this Turk is, and well, that's it. So maybe in season 2, and they do. I've seen it. They do like solve some of the stuff. So, but it was canceled before its time. So, but all in all, because of the slow pace and the kind of convoluted stories and the teen drama and the kind of illogical things that happen, I got to give it a 7.5 out of 10. That's like right on par with Terminator 3. So, but that's it for this one. That's it for season 1. Next up, we'll be doing season 2, and it took me 30 minutes to do 9 episodes. There are 23 episodes in the season 2, which is what I'll be doing next. The next episode will be season 2, but it looks like I will be splitting it into 2 episodes. So we'll do season 2 part 1 and season 2 part 2. Do, I guess, 11 episodes on one, 12 episodes on the other. I don't know. We'll see. I think I can break that down into 30 minutes. I don't like to go 40 minutes, so, but that is going to be the very next thing. And these 2 will not be added. These will be added into the main rankings, but I think the other rankings I'm doing are like the best characters. So like the best bad guys, the best here we go. The best heroes and the best villains. That's all. I'm only doing 3 this time. Movies, heroes, villains. And none of the characters in this will be added into that. Because once again, I find it unfair. It's an unfair advantage to these people because you get to know them more and you get to become more emotionally invested. Because they have more story to tell. So, yeah. But if I was doing a ranking of the best Sarah Connor, yeah, Lyndall Hamilton still wins. If I was doing the best John Connor, yeah, Edward Furlong still wins. So there's no point in doing that ranking system. So good guys, bad guys. But thank you for joining me for season 1. Please join me for season 2. Yeah, Terminator. The one funny thing about this, though, I have to say this, is that they could not afford the theme song. So the theme song for this show is just the drum beat. The dun 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 dun. That's it. You don't get anything more. So I think that's funny. But yeah, thank you for watching season 1. Join me for season 2. I like this show. It is what it is. I like it. It's dope. Cool, man.